welcome fellow Wasteland survivors. I'm Dean. Thanks for dropping in because finally, after 2 months and 12 videos, our settlement build at Abernathy Farms is finally complete. Today's video, we're going to take a nice little tour so that we can see the end result of our hard work. So, grab a cold drink, get a snack, kick back because we're going to get started here in a second. But first, I really need to apologize to you guys and gals who were waiting for the manufacturing tips and tricks videos. The first video was supposed to be oriented towards the beginning part of those objects, and I really dropped the ball on that video. Sometimes I get so excited that, before long I'm just doing things that really shouldn't have been in that video. But that's okay. A couple of days ago, our good friend at the School Zone, Paul, released a new video out entitled Introduction to the Manufacturing Objects. I checked it out. It is phenomenal. He does such a good job explaining everything about these objects. So, I don't know if it's legal or not, but I will post a link to that video and his channel in the description below. So when the video's over, cruise over, check it out. It will fill in a lot of gaps. Also, I know you're probably already subscribed to him, but if you're not, show him a little love and hit that sub button. Okay, our tour starts at the back of the farmhouse. Here we can find 3 guard posts with some laser turrets. Lucy Abernathy was recently promoted to Chief of Security, so these are her 3 guard posts back here. She can defend the rear part of the farm and watch over her sister's grave at the same time. She has been gifted a highly modified laser Gatling gun. So I think with that weapon, she should be able to get the job done pretty good. This is the rear entrance to where all the shops are at. There are 4, and the trader is not in to work yet. That's the 3rd time this week he's been late to work. I'm going to have another word with him. The store is lightly stocked because I was having an issue with objects dropping through the floors. The clothing vendor is not in either. I have noticed these two hanging out quite a bit together. So, I wonder if we've got a little love spark going on here at Abernathy Farms. This is the armor vendor. He's got power armor for sale as well. Abernathy Farms gets a lot of traders that come through here, so these stores are heavily stocked. Okay, now the weapons vendor has, or I should say had, a pretty cool animated sign. The generator that runs it is off because of frame rate issues, but part of it quit working, and I had to take it out. So what I wanted to do was show you guys what it looked like when it was working correctly. What the idea here is to create a shorting out effect on the hues. Then I was going to use the School Zone's tip on how to create an electrical spark in your settlement to accent it and make it really look cool, like it was really shorting out. Once again, it quit working, and we're just settling with the gun shop animation right now. So let me go ahead and shut off the generator so we don't have those frame rate issues, and we'll continue our tour of Hugh's Gun Shop. Here in our greenhouse, they do experimental gene splicing with the crops. They've got some hybrid crops in planters as well as hanging planters. It's quite sophisticated what they do here. I'm not really for sure how it all works, but if you were ever interested, all you'd have to do is ask Connie Abernathy. She could literally put you to sleep telling you about it. Okay, now that we've gotten a pretty decent look at our main settlement, it's time to reveal what you've all came to see. Can I get a drum roll, please? What do you mean it wasn't in our budget? It's a drum roll. Fine, I'll do it myself. Oh, that was terrible. Welcome to Nasty Bones Gaming, where we spare no expense for your visual entertainment, with the exception of a drum roll. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have built the USS Enterprise here at Abernathy Farms. It crashed a while back, and we've been the last 2 months rebuilding it, and it is now fully operational and ready to head back into the stars, where it can continue going where no man or woman has gone before. Okay, this settlement took almost 200 hours over the last 2 months to create. Now that does include the 12 videos that came along with it, but I'm not counting in the 3, almost 4 days I've spent on this video already. Now I've lost track of how much we've size glitched this settlement, but I do believe we're really close to 4 times its natural size. And because of that, when I run some of the animations, we do suffer frame rates. And later on in this video, we'll see some of those frame rate issues. Now, originally we had quite a bit planned for this part of the build, the ship part of the build. For instance, this structure was going to be our manufacturing area. Now, we wasn't going to use manufacturing objects to do it. We were just going to use other objects to make it look like they were creating the parts and pieces that we needed to repair the Enterprise. But because of the size of this settlement, we were extremely limited to how many objects we could get out. Therefore, this part of the build just didn't get fully completed, even though we've got quite a bit out. But as a result of that, we were able to get most of the interior of the Enterprise completed. Which, all this brings me to a point, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you're a master builder or a beginner builder, there is no way you can fully envision what your build is going to look like at the end. There will always be changes and modifications to it. And throughout my entire career of building in Fallout, it has always been for the best. So don't ever let it hold you back. Get building. Let the ideas flow. It'll always be better. And because of the support that I've gotten from you guys over the last couple of months on these videos, it has inspired me to do the best that I could on this settlement build.
You're needed back on the ship, sir.
Tell the transporter room to stand by.
They have lock on, ready to beam you up on your command.
Enterprise, 1 to beam up. Welcome to the Enterprise. Our first stop today is the transporter room. Now, since this build is fully complete at this time, fast travel is the only way in and out of the Enterprise. Now, our little transporter room turned out to be pretty cool. We've got a decon chamber here in the entrance. It's always connected to power and always will work. Now, I was able to create some fields in this lower saucer section. So when we turn off the switch, all the lighting goes off, but once again, the decon chamber stays on. Okay, let's take a little closer look so we can see all the objects we used to create this area. We've got a couple of the round containers with stoplights in it. This door hides the electrical conduit that we're using to create the field in this area. We were able to create the teleporter by using 8 of the curved concrete floors. There's a fast travel mat under the black mat, and we carpet glitched a circular container into the floor. There's also 6 doors up that really help give us an octagonal type shape. Now, when I created these clips, I had most of the systems in the Enterprise off, so that way we could get a real good look. But here it is with all the systems on, and you can see it is much brighter in this entire area. Okay, before we continue, let's take a quick look at our weapons locker. We used quite a few objects to build this. There's 8 metal posts for the sides, a picture in reverse with gun racks on the front, and then we used 2 of the wall-mounted shelves for the top and a regular shelf for the bottom to hold all the ammo. Now, originally this was designed to go in the transporter room, but because of how tight it was in there, we just couldn't get them to fit. Alright, the cafeteria. Now, the first thing to notice here is the lighting is on. When we flip off the switch, the lighting will go off. This is another area I was able to create and generate an electrical field. When we turn the switch back on, the door opens for 3 seconds, the lights come on, and even though the door closes, the lights will stay on until we turn the switch off again. Now, it was pretty tight in here. I wasn't able to get a lot of objects out. So we decorated heavily in here to help give it some cool effect. And what's going on here? Okay, there was a box there holding all that food, and maybe the settler ate the box. I can only imagine how bad the food here in Fallout must taste, and that box probably was a little bit tastier than most of the food. Alright, we'll check out a couple of the residential areas. They are decorated kind of lightly. They're all different, but they're pretty much the same. They are on their own electrical fields as well, and you can see it when I turned that light off, the lights in that room went off. You could tell because you could see them through the crack in the door. Okay, our next stop is medical. Now, this is a walkthrough or a tour video, but I do got a very good tip for you guys and gals. Don't forget to assign your settlers to these objects before you complete your build. I did. And now it's impossible to access these areas to assign any settlers to these objects. So, don't be stupid like me, and make sure to assign your settlers to the items you need them assigned to before you finish or complete your build. We've got another locker, weapons locker here on this side, which is exactly the same as the other side. Okay, I think we're needed up at the bridge, so let's head on up there and see what they want.
Excuse me, Captain.
What is it, Henson?
Sensors indicate an enemy vessel fast approaching, and they are charging weapons.
Can you identify who they are?
No, sir, not for another 30 seconds. But ship composition suggests Borg.
Borg, in this sector, charge all weapons and inform me when they are within range.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Okay, and while you do that, I'll put it up on the view screen. Maximum magnification, of course.
The enemy is within range, Captain. It is the Borg.
Fire!
Enemy ship destroyed, sir, but sensors indicate several more ships moving into range. All Borg.
Fire all weapons!
Aye, aye, Captain.
Continue firing!
We are, Captain, but we're running out of ammunition. There are only 10 torpedoes left in the bay.
What? We can't let them take the ship. Contact engineering and get a status report.
Engineering reports, warp core is online.
Henson, target the lead ship and prepare to go to warp.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Perhaps today is a good day to die. Okay, welcome back everybody. Sorry about that, but it is hard to resist any opportunity to do a little role-playing, right? And what better setup do we need than being on the bridge of the Enterprise? Okay, let's take a little closer look at our bridge. First off, our view screen. It's 15 light boxes wide by 8 light boxes tall, totaling 120 light boxes. We're using a 6-pole recycling animation to power the light boxes. In the beginning part of the build, we have several pictures in reverse that really help give us a pretty cool futuristic look. Our computer console is designed and built with numerous other objects. And let's start with the top of the computer console where the big light boxes are at. What we've done is we've used several of the metal signs that can be found in the Nuka World DLC section. We've got a couple of the office lights up behind them, and we're using carpets to close off the gaps in between them. On the ends, we're using lockers to help give us a trim effect, and we're using more office lights on wall-mounted shelves with TVs on them. We've also got some containers with the futuristic chairs. Now, you know, it really is the simple things in life that can give you so much pleasure. For example, these lockers. A couple of months ago, we saw a tip on the School Zones channel where he used an arrow to precisely mark an area that he wanted to align another object up to. And this is a phenomenal tip. We have mentioned it and used it numerous times in this build. Now, even though this tip was sweet by itself, we were actually able to modify it. We took an arrow and placed it on one of these lockers. Then we took a carpet and glitched in another locker on top of it. And when we took the carpet out, it dropped down and set on the arrow. And because of that, we were able to precisely make both sets of lockers exactly the same height. And even though this is an extremely simple tip, it's had the most impact on the way I build. Thank you, School Zone. Okay, now for this pesky damn captain's chair. We have modified this thing numerous times over the last few videos. And a couple of videos ago, a good friend left a comment saying he really liked it the original way. I did agree with him. It was pretty cool. But we used the Overseer's bench with it. It was big, it was bulky, and it took up way too much room. So, brother, I split the difference with you, and hopefully you like the way that it actually turned out. Okay, let's shut our systems down here on the bridge. I hear engineering needs us. Let's head down there. Welcome to the first part of engineering, research and development. Now, when we built and designed engineering, we used a lot of electrical to do it, and logic gates are part of that electrical system. When we flip on this switch, the logic gates become active, and instantly we can see huge drops in frame rates. Now, there is a second reason why we're suffering frame rate issue right now, and that's because of the unique way that we're using the AND logic gates. The AND logic gate requires two power sources before it transmits power. So the first power source we're using is an interval switch 5-pole animation. That's why the logic gates are blinking on and off, and why we're suffering with these big frame rates. Now, the second power source is part of this laser tripwire. When we activate the tripwire, it sends a second power source to the logic gates, and all of the fields and animations in engineering come on. Okay, let's work our way over to the warp core engine, and what's this? Drugs? Okay, it looks like we might need to initiate some random UAs. Alright, our warp core engine consists of numerous light boxes. We do have a chandelier in the center, and it's not working. I couldn't never get it to come on for whatever reason. Now, our animations aren't working correctly because of how much we've sized glitched this settlement. So, we weren't able to actually get the animation that we had originally planned to go in on the warp core engine. Okay, now that we're leaving engineering, we retrip the laser wire. We lose the second source of power to the AND logic gates, and everything in that section goes off because of it. Alright, well, I hope that these frame rate issues weren't annoying, and you guys got a pretty good look at how our animations were set up. So, let's go ahead, flip the switch off that's running the logic gates, and then we can take a little closer look at this section. Now, when we hit this first tripwire, all the lights in research and development come on. We've got quite a few objects out. It was tight in here, so we relied on decorating to give us the effect we were looking for. Okay, now let's enter back into engineering. Once again, when we trip the laser tripwire, all the fields come on. The only thing that didn't come on was our animation from the logic gates. But we can get a pretty good look at everything now, and we can see all the objects that were used in here to create these computer consoles. Okay, my friends, that is engineering. Okay, next, let's see a couple of clips on what our settlement looks like at night. Okay, I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking the same thing. What good is it to have the Federation's flagship if we actually can't use it? Now, it did take quite a while to generate an attack here at the farm. I placed out several raider cages and put about 1,000 pieces of food resources into the workbench. And finally, after about 10 or so days, we got attacked here. Now, the fast travel mat is still in the ship, so I had to fast travel to Red Rocket. Because the enemies are so low leveled, the settlers are well armed, and we are sporting more than 150 defense at this settlement, the fights literally lasted 10 or 15 seconds. So these are the best clips that I could get after trying to get clips for about a day. Here are the Abernethys overseeing the farm, making sure everything's running correctly. We do have a contract with them. We gave them some energy weapons, and in return they were gracious enough to allow us to use the farm in repairing and rebuilding the Enterprise.
I have no choice.
Before we say our goodbyes today, let's take a couple of seconds and reflect back on our journey up to this point. Over the last couple of months, we've seen a lot of tips and tricks on how we designed and created this settlement, and that's what our community is all about. We are extremely lucky to have so many great builders that are a part of this community, and this includes you ladies. Quite a few of you gals have been sending me clips on what you're doing, and I have to say, you're nailing it. Also, we need to take a second and re-thank the Schooled Zone. Paul, you're doing a great job over there, my friend. Keep it up. I really enjoy the way you take the time to explain even the smallest details of your tip. And even though some of these details may seem small, they really can have the greatest impact on the way we all build in Fallout. Thanks, Paul. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping in, sharing your precious time with me today. I really do appreciate it. And just like always, until next time, please stay safe and peace.